3 ans après la sortie de Crackdown, les développeurs de Ruffian Games vous proposent de retourner à Pacific City dans Crackdown 2. Au programme, un jeu d'action de type monde ouvert se déroulant 10 ans après les événements du premier opus. Nous avons récemment rencontré James Cobb, lead producer de Crackdown 2, afin qu'il nous en dise plus sur son jeu.
Big differences in Crackdown 2 is that we have a much sort of more contrasting gameplay style. The day-night cycle is really important in Crackdown 2. In the daytime, you're fighting against human gangs. You're fighting against like kind of your run and gun gameplay. It's shooting people. It's capturing locations. And in the nighttime, the freaks come out and they run complete riot over the city. And you're fighting against thousands of enemies. So it's about changing the way you play. It's about using big objects to kill lots of freaks at once, or it's about throwing cars to kill lots of freaks at once. So it's a much more kind of contrast to the strategic gunplay that you get in the daytime. The nighttime is all about kind of big explosions, loads of over-the-top moves, and doing as much as you can and as fast as you can. The way that we've improved Crackdown 2 is expand on the multiplayer aspect. That's a big thing for us. We've gone from 2-player co-op to a 4-player co-op system, where it's truly go anywhere, do anything with 4 people in the campaign game. And it's the same experience you get in single player, but with your friends. So you can go anywhere in the world, do anything you want with your friends at the same time. So that's pretty unique for the kind of game we are. And then the other side of multiplayer is an online skirmish game, 16 players fighting against each other. It's much more combative, it's strategic, but also kind of crazy. It's really simple. Games like Rocket Tag, where find the orb, carry the orb to score points, whereas everyone else is trying to shoot with a rocket launcher. Very simple gameplay, but over the top. Lots of explosions and lots of deaths, lots of kills, but that pure kind of video game experience is what Crackdown is about. No, we don't support split screen, unfortunately, in Crackdown 2. The game's story, the real heart of the story in Crackdown 2 is that we're trying to rescue Pacific City. The key thing there is that it's destroy the freaks and it's destroy the cell. Through something called Project Sunburst. And Project Sunburst is your primary objective. It's to create a giant energy weapon, a bomb to destroy everything, destroy all freaks in the world, and kind of bring harmony back to the city. That's the real core story. The backplot to all of this is manifold. We find out more about the agency. We find out more about the cell and its leader, Catalina Thorne, through kind of context. But I think the real distinction for Crackdown is that we don't tell that story, we don't do it linearly, we don't use cutscenes. It's all down to the player and how they play and how they explore to find that out. We don't interrupt their game, we want them to find it all out, and we don't have that kind of narrative. It's difficult to do, but we think we've done that very well. The Pacific City's changed because 10 years since we last saw it, the freaks have run riot. The cell has taken over control of the city more from the agency. So effectively we're coming back into Pacific City from a period where it's grown, new buildings have appeared, taller buildings, the freaks have burrowed underground, there's new cavernous spaces underground. So we've expanded that kind of height of game. People will come back into it recognising some aspects of Pacific City from the first game, but they'll also be asking, well, why has that happened? Some areas are so devastated that buildings have fallen down, there's rubble everywhere, and there's been cracks in the sides of pavements and roads and going into underground spaces. So this kind of like sense of familiarity that people are going to have is going to be important to where they explore and discover more of what's going on. The main character of Crackdown is not really the player. The main character of Crackdown is two things. It's the city and it's the voice of the agency. They're really where all the character comes from in the game. The character from the first that you played in the first game had no voice. He was a clone. It's nothing. He was an unthinking killing machine. And again, in Crackdown 2, he's just a weapon for the agency. You are just a weapon, and there's no story for you. It's very disposable. The agents can be killed and regenerated and things like that. There's an infinite supply of them. So there's no actual story to tell with that person. And what we do is we tell. We have information and narrative, or not narrative, but plot and discovery of the world and some of the agency and the cell and things like that. So it's more about development of the entire world rather than one character. we've changed it rather a lot. We want to keep that style of Crackdown. It's about a graphic novel. It looks like a comic book in motion in a way. We like the vibrancy and we like being able to stand out. We like the hyper-realism of it. You know, it's very kind of intense colour palettes, rich colour palettes that contrast between the daytime bright sort of oranges, purples, blues and things like that, you know, to the nighttime where it feels more oppressive, and that matches the gameplay. You know, we want the way the game looks to feel how it plays, and you know, you get those really bright moments in the daytime versus those really dark moments when it's overcast or when it's dark. So you know, that was the mood we wanted to get across, this sense of being a superhero, playing a graphic novel in a way, and seeing some of those things in motion. We are doing DLC. We won't talk about what that is yet. We're still thinking about some of the features of it, but what I can say is that, you know, like Crackdown, we want to be able to give away new vehicles, new weapons, new things like that. So, but the real beauty of DLC for us is that it's a way of using Crackdown as a building block, and we want to change the way the game plays in a way. So new game types, new gameplay out of the DLC is what we want. We don't believe in just giving away a few items. We want to be able to change the way people play the game, give whole new game experiences with it. Yes, we're very keen to work on it, and I think we've got something that people will be really interested in seeing some point in the future. We already have ideas. I mean, we have ideas, you know, all over the place. We have ideas coming from Crackdown 1, Crackdown 2. But you know, I think what we do next, it's going to be a while before we can talk about it, but we hope to surprise people. That's an interesting one for us because, you know, Natal's brilliant at being what it is. For us though, we make the kind of the core action game, and I don't think that, you know, we weld very well to the Natal experience at the moment. We're very interested in it and we want to integrate it into stuff we do in the future, but for Crackdown 2, it's very much about the core audience at the moment for us.
Les joueurs qui en avaient assez d'avoir à choisir entre casser du gangster et détruire de l'infecté pourront bientôt s'en donner à cœur joie. Crackdown 2 sera en effet dans les bacs à partir du 9 juillet prochain, exclusivement sur Xbox 360.